Hey, this is Full Game Prometheus, the only YouTuber that actually shows you full games of all the tips and schemes he breaks down on his channel. I'll show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. You get to see these schemes against live online ranked opponents. So, guys, the next formation I'm going to jump into is going to be the single back bunch. It could either be the single back bunch, or ace, single back bunch, base. This is a formation that if you don't have it in your playbook, you have to, especially if you're going to play draft champions, because it has basically a bunch of different ways to attack your opponent, different levels and stuff like that. So I want to go ahead and show you the audibles, and then we're going to go. Alright, so this is the audible out of the single back bunch ace. I've got spacing. This is not a play I'm going to run a lot, but it is something I'll jump into if I see the opportunity. Next play is going to be the inside zone. This is actually a good way to go ahead and attack your opponent. And then we have 4 verticals. And then actually play action fork shot, which is a great cover 2 beater. Now a couple of base plays we're going to call when it comes to the running game. I'm either going to come out of either the quick pitch or the misdirection weak. These end around plays, I don't have a play action end around, so I'm not going to utilize them at all. The other base play I'll probably jump out of is going to be the play action boot slide, just because of the uniqueness of these routes. But really, for the most part, I'm just going to come out of running plays and use my pass plays from there. So let's go ahead and jump into the running plays and then go from there. So when you are using the bunch, you always want to use the quick pitch. What's really good about this is you can flip this play fairly easily and attack your opponent to the outside and pick up some pretty major yards against your opponent if you got a good fast running back. Now, one of the audibles is going to be the inside zone, so if your opponent is spreading his defensive defenders out, you can hit him with the inside zone, or just keep it back to the pitch and just force him to make a decision whether he's going to try to contain the outside or the inside. So that's what's good about this particular play, is that you've got an inside run and an outside run. So one other play that I'd actually probably use in this is going to be the misdirection. So misdirection essentially is a counter play. And if you've been following my channel, I'm not a very big proponent of counters this year. And you've never seen me running them a lot because I just don't think the blocking is very consistent. As you can see right here, I got a guy who came off the edge. But if you got a guy that's actually shifting his line majorly over to a different area, you can't break a big play with the misdirection. So you can definitely pick up some pretty good yards against your opponent with this misdirection if you start shifting to try to take away the pitch. Now, spacing is one of the base audibles, and I don't really run this play too much. What I like to do is actually streak up my tight end number 1, and basically I'm looking for the outside, or I'm just doing a quick pass lead down to the tight end number 2. I really am looking to Fitzgerald. I'm looking to Fitzgerald to make sure no defender floats in the area, and I'm going to take that easy 5-10 yard completion right there with a quick out. So if nobody floats out there, I'm just going to keep popping that if I get an opportunity to get it. But if defenders float over there, basically I'm going to go ahead and check it down to this little rod here with a low pass lead. I am not going to, I'm really more looking to Fitzgerald, my wide receiver number 1, and then I'm just going to try to get rid of the ball as quickly as possible. You do have a little hitch route with Brown on the backside right here, but sometimes you can get yourself in trouble if you try to force it like that. Alright, so what a lot of players would do with verticals is they're going to go ahead and motion out their wide receiver number 2. And if nobody falls in the area, they're going to go ahead and hit that whip route. Going to motion our guy out. And sometimes you can actually hit your tight end in the seam on the backside if he actually has a guy floating out in that area, so it's a good way to go and attack your opponent. Another option too is just a deep out with your tight end number, or with your wide receiver number 1, because they're really going to be focusing on the other side of the field. And that actually can open things up for you with the little wheel route right here if you want to do that. But really, if you want to go ahead and try to attack your opponent with the outs, as long as the defender doesn't float in the area, you've got the out route that you can go and beat him for a good 10-yard gain. Now, basically you've got that crossing route by Fells that actually can get open, but I'm actually going to save that concept for another play. Now the final audible we're going to take a look at before we go into the play action boot slide is going to be the play action fork shot. And what's good about this particular play is that it is a cover 2 and a zone coverage beater. Now what I like to do is I like to take my tight end number 1 and put him on either an in or an out or a drag. And the reason I want to do that with this particular play is I want to force my opponent to respect that tight end. Also, that it gives me an opportunity, if I've got one-on-one coverage, I can hit my opponent a little bit later down in the field. But if he's actually zoning me up, I'm going to go ahead and check down to these drag routes and the out routes with the tight end. Now, I've actually shown a tutorial before in the past of how this particular play beats a lot of different types of coverages. In particular cover 2 situations. So if you want to, just go ahead and take a look at the link in the bottom, but this is a very good play to go ahead and hit your opponent at higher levels because it's going to basically go ahead and get him real high. So Luke Brown actually comes down the ball right there, and I thread the needle with that pass. So that's what I do like about this particular play, is that it gives me a lot of different ways I can attack my opponent. See right here, Brown's able to come down with another huge catch for me right there. The final play we're going to look at is going to be a play action boot slide. And I like to go ahead and cancel off the play action primarily because I don't want to get sucked into that. And you got Grisham that's actually going to be going on a strange little route. I can still show my opponent the same type of look. And if I get the flat, I'm going to go ahead and take it. I want my opponent to defend the flats. Crossover, and on the backside here against man coverage, you should get inside leverage. And the reason that the flat route is red is because it actually is going to be your first read, and if nobody goes out in the flat, you want to go ahead and take it. You got to force your opponent to stop that. But if you give your opponent the same look, he's going to have to think that he's going to have to stop certain things, and you can hit him over the middle too if he tries to bring some defenders in the area. So that's what I do like about this particular play. So once again, it's going to be focusing off to the left side of the field and tack that flat if it's given to you, if nobody comes out there to defend that guy. So basically this is going to be how I'm going to run the formation. I've got little quick outs, I've got verticals, I got the play action fork shot, which will be probably a play I'm going to jump into a lot to stretch the field, and I've got an established running game that I'm going to attack my opponent with. I've got 4 verticals. Some adjustments that people do on verticals is they'll go ahead and drag up guys or put a guy on an in route or on out route, I stand corrected, just to go ahead and give yourself another way you can attack your opponent and actually give yourself some more blocking. So to my subscribers, guys, I hope you really appreciate these tips. If you do this, if you run the single back bunch ace, I'm sorry, the single back bunch base ace out of the Arizona playbook, and you run a couple other plays that you really like, go ahead and share that in the description. Let us know what you do. I'll be actually rolling out full games with this Arizona playbook with my MUT team and also with Draft Champions, so you can see firsthand how opponents defend these type of plays. So once again, I really appreciate support. Until next time.